Welcome to MindPop English. I am Pinky, your host for today. Welcome to MindPop English. Today, you are going to begin one of the most powerful listening sessions you have ever experienced. For the next hour, you will train your ears, your brain, and your speaking confidence at a true C1 advanced level. But before we go into the main listening practice, I want to start with a short story. This story will slowly pull you in, build curiosity, and help your mind get ready for the deeper listening tasks ahead. I want you to relax, breathe, and simply let the English flow into your ears. Do not try to understand every single word. Just allow meaning to form naturally. Imagine this. Early in the morning, before the sun rises, a young professional named Daniel walks into a quiet cafe in the center of the city. He is preparing for the most important interview of his life. The streets outside are empty, and the air is still cold from the night. As he sits down with a cup of coffee, he looks around and sees only one other person inside, a woman. She is typing quickly on a laptop, wearing headphones, completely lost in her work. Daniel can hear nothing but the soft background music and the sound of his own heartbeat. At this moment, he notices something strange. The woman suddenly stops typing, takes off her headphones, and looks directly at him. She smiles gently, as if she already knows him. But Daniel has never seen her before. Then she says something unexpected, something that completely changes the direction of his morning. "Why are you so nervous?" Daniel is surprised. He doesn't know what to say. He feels exposed, almost as if she can read his mind. Before he answers, she continues speaking, this time in a calm, confident voice. "You are not here because you lack skill or experience. You are here because you doubt yourself. But you should know something important. Everyone who succeeds had to walk through doubt first. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build, word by word, step by step." For a moment, Daniel thinks she might be a motivational speaker or a coach. Her words are too precise, too powerful, almost like she has spoken to thousands of people before. But before he can ask her anything, she closes her laptop, stands up, and prepares to leave. She walks toward the door, stops for a second, turns around, and says one final thing. "Speak your truth today. That is all you need." Then she disappears into the early morning light. This moment stays in Daniel's mind, and it will stay in yours too. Because this exact idea is the foundation of today's listening practice. When you learn English at an advanced level, you often doubt yourself. You think your pronunciation is not good enough. You think native speakers talk too fast. You think your vocabulary is too small, or your accent is too strong. But none of that is the real problem. The real challenge is confidence, the courage to speak, the courage to express your ideas clearly, the courage to trust that the English you already know is enough to communicate meaning. In this video, we are going to train your listening in a way that slowly reduces that doubt. My goal is to help you understand advanced English more naturally, and to help your speaking become smoother and more confident. You will hear real, natural English, not too fast, not too slow. Exactly the kind of English you need to prepare for real conversations with native speakers. Before we continue, I want you to think about something simple. Why are you here today? What made you click on this video? Was it because you want to speak English more fluently? Because you want to understand English TV shows and podcasts more easily? Because you want to improve your career? Or maybe because you want to feel proud of yourself when you communicate in English. Whatever your reason is, keep it in your mind. Hold on to it, because it will give you focus and energy throughout this 1 hour of practice. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully. Do not worry about understanding every single sentence. Instead, listen for the general meaning. Listen for the emotions. Listen for the rhythm of the language. Your brain learns English faster when you relax and enjoy the story, instead of forcing yourself to translate everything. When you stop translating, you begin to think in English. That is the true goal. In this first part of the video, I will guide you through a series of short scenes, each one designed to warm up your mind. These scenes will include everyday conversations, advanced vocabulary, and natural expressions used by native speakers, but I will present them in a simple, clean way, so that even if you are a new learner, you can still understand the main idea. Let's start gently. Imagine you are walking through a busy international airport. You hear announcements, conversations, footsteps, and rolling suitcases. English feels alive, full, dynamic. People from every country are speaking it in different accents. Some speak clearly, some speak quickly, some speak with strong accents, but they all communicate. They all make English work. This is your reminder that perfection is not the goal. Communication is. Now imagine you sit down near a large window and listen to two travelers talking next to you. They are discussing their plans, sharing their experiences, and expressing their opinions. You are not part of the conversation, but you can understand the main ideas. You can follow the flow. You can predict what will come next. This is the beginning of real listening mastery. As we go deeper into this video, you will develop that same ability. The ability to understand English, even when it feels fast, even when the vocabulary is challenging, and even when the speaker uses natural, everyday expressions that you normally only hear in movies or real conversations. In the next part, we will begin your first advanced listening segment. This will be a real conversation, spoken at a natural speed, but structured in a clear, easy-to-follow way. Your job is simple: listen, absorb, and trust yourself. Now that your mind is warmed up and ready, we are going to move into your first advanced listening scene. This scene is a natural conversation between two colleagues who work in a modern technology company. The dialogue will help you hear how native speakers connect ideas, how they express opinions, and how they make their speech flow smoothly. As you listen, do not focus on every individual word. Instead, focus on the meaning. Focus on how the ideas connect to each other. Allow the English to come to you without pressure. Imagine this. It is Monday morning, around 9 a.m. Two colleagues, Sarah and Michael, arrive at the office at the same time. They do not know each other very well, but they have seen each other around the workplace. Today, however, they will have their first real conversation. As they step into the elevator and the doors close behind them, the scene begins. Sarah says, "Good morning. Looks like we are both a little early today." Michael laughs softly and replies, "Yeah, I figured it would be smart to get a head start this week. We have that big presentation coming up, and I want to make sure I am fully prepared." Sarah nods and says, "I know what you mean. I spent half of yesterday reviewing the numbers. There were a few things that did not add up at first, but I think I finally sorted them out." Then she pauses for a moment and adds, "Honestly, I am a bit nervous about the presentation. It is our first time presenting to the senior team together. Michael turns to her with a relaxed smile. I get that. Presenting can be stressful, even when you know the material well. But I think we will be fine. You seem really organized. And that makes a big difference. Most of the time, confidence just comes from preparation. Sarah laughs lightly and says, I wish it were that simple. I always feel this pressure to sound perfect. Like if I make one small mistake, people will judge me, especially when speaking in front of experienced professionals. Michael shakes his head. Actually, I used to feel the exact same way. When I first joined the company, I was terrified of speaking in meetings. I thought everyone was way more knowledgeable than me. But over time, I realized something important. People do not expect perfection. They expect clarity. As long as you express your ideas clearly, they will listen, even if your sentences are not perfect. The elevator arrives at their floor. As the doors open, Sarah says, Thank you. I really needed to hear that this morning. They step into the hallway, walking side by side. Michael continues, No problem. Besides, once you start speaking, the nerves usually disappear. It is always the moments before you begin that feel the hardest. This short conversation is full of real-life English you will hear in workplaces around the world. It contains natural expressions, connected ideas, and relaxed rhythm. As you train with scenes like this, your listening will become smoother, and your speaking confidence will grow naturally. Now let us continue with the next part of this scene. After they walk to their desks, Sarah sits down, opens her laptop, and takes a deep breath. She wants to feel calm, but her mind is still buzzing. She decides to look over the presentation slides one more time. As she scrolls, she whispers to herself, Just stay focused. You know this. You have done harder things before. A few minutes later, Michael walks by her desk and says, Hey, I just talked to our manager. She said the presentation might be moved up to Wednesday instead of Friday. Sarah freezes for a second. Wednesday? That is in 2 days. Michael nods and says, I know. It is earlier than expected, but she said the senior team wants to review everything before their trip, so we need to be ready. Sarah closes her eyes for a moment, feeling the pressure rise. When she opens them again, she says, Okay, then we will make it work. But you have to promise me one thing. If I start panicking during the presentation, you have to step in. Michael smiles and says, Deal, but I do not think you will panic. Most people underestimate themselves. They think they will freeze or forget their words. But when the moment comes, they usually surprise themselves. This is an important mindset for advanced English learners too. Many students think they will not understand native speakers in real life. They think they will freeze or panic. But when the situation happens, they often understand more than they expect. They speak more naturally than they believe. And that is because the human brain is smarter than we think. When you listen to enough English, your brain starts to recognize patterns automatically. It knows the rhythm, the structure, and the meaning even before you consciously process every word. This video is designed to train that exact part of your brain, the part that learns through exposure and repetition, not through memorization, the part that absorbs language naturally. So as you continue listening, relax into the story. Let the English come to you the same way music does. You do not try to understand every note in a song. You simply feel the rhythm. Listening to English is the same. Let us go back to the story. Later that day, Sarah and Michael sit in a small meeting room to rehearse their presentation. They open their laptops, look at the slides, and begin practicing. Michael says, "I will start with the introduction. Then you can take over for the market analysis section. After that, I'll handle the financial projections, and you can wrap up with the final recommendations." Sarah nods and says, "Sounds good. But can we take it slow at first? I want to make sure I pronounce everything clearly." Michael replies, "Of course, take your time. Clarity is more important than speed." They begin practicing. Sarah speaks slowly, carefully choosing her words. At first, she hesitates, but after a few minutes, her voice becomes more stable. She pauses less. She sounds more natural. Michael smiles and says, "See? You are doing great. You just needed a little warm-up." That is exactly how advanced English practice works too. You warm up, you hesitate at first, then you relax, then you improve, bit by bit. Now that Sarah and Michael have practiced a bit, let's take a moment to reflect on what you have just heard. Notice how natural English works. People pause, they repeat ideas, they clarify points, and they respond to emotions. You do not need to understand every word to follow the conversation. Your brain naturally connects the meaning. This is how real-life English listening works, and it is exactly what we are training in this video. Let's continue the story. After their practice session, they leave the meeting room and head back to their desks. Sarah sits quietly, sipping her coffee, thinking about the day. Michael approaches and says, "Hey, do you want to grab lunch later? I know a small cafe nearby that has amazing sandwiches." Sarah smiles and replies, "Sure, that sounds great. A change of environment might help me relax. Plus, I could use a break after all that preparation." During lunch, they talk about lighter topics. Michael asks, "Did you do anything fun over the weekend?" Sarah answers, "I went hiking in the mountains. The view was incredible, and it felt so peaceful." Michael nods and says, "That sounds amazing. I usually just stay at home and read, but I should try hiking sometime. It's a good way to clear your mind." Notice how the language changes here. During the meeting, the conversation is focused, precise, and professional. During lunch, it becomes casual, relaxed, and friendly. As an advanced English learner, it is important to notice these changes. Native speakers adjust their tone, vocabulary, and rhythm, depending on the situation. Learning to recognize and understand this will make your English sound more natural. After lunch, they return to the office. Sarah starts working on the presentation slides again. She notices a section where the data seems unclear. She thinks, I need to double-check this number. Then she looks at Michael and says, "Can you take a look at this chart? Something doesn't feel right." Michael leans over, studies the chart for a moment, and replies, "I see what you mean. This might be a typo, or maybe the data source was updated. Let's check together." This is another key aspect of real English. People ask questions, confirm understanding, and work collaboratively. Listening to these exchanges trains your brain to follow context, spot details, and predict what comes next. It also helps you prepare for speaking, because you start to notice patterns in responses and natural ways to express your ideas. Later in the afternoon, Sarah receives an email from their manager. She reads it quickly, her eyes scanning the lines. Michael notices and asks, "Everything okay?" Sarah replies, "Yes, just a small update. The presentation needs to include a new slide, about recent market trends. It is not a big change, but we have to adjust quickly. Michael nods, saying, "No problem. Let's add it now, so we are ready." They work together smoothly, adjusting the presentation and reviewing the slides carefully. Step by step, everything starts coming together. This is exactly how you should think about learning English. Small steps, repeated practice, and patience. Each conversation, each listening exercise, each small adjustment builds your fluency. Do not rush. Focus on understanding the flow, the emotions, and the meaning behind words. Over time, your confidence will grow naturally, just like Sarah's did. As the day ends, Sarah leans back in her chair and thinks about her progress. She smiles, realizing she was nervous earlier, but now feels more capable. Michael walks by and says, "Great job today. You were amazing during the practice." Sarah replies, "Thanks. I still feel nervous, but I think I am ready for tomorrow." Michael smiles and says, "You will be fine. Just remember to breathe and trust yourself." Here is a very important lesson for you. Advanced English is not only about vocabulary or grammar. It is about mindset. It is about confidence. It is about trusting yourself to communicate, even if you make small mistakes. Native speakers understand that everyone makes mistakes. What matters most is that you express your ideas clearly and continue the conversation naturally. Before we move to the next listening scene, let's do a small mental exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in a similar situation. You are speaking English with someone new. You are nervous, but you are prepared. You make small mistakes, but the conversation flows smoothly. You feel confident. You enjoy the interaction. Visualizing this will train your brain to respond positively in real situations. This is a key part of advanced language learning. Your brain learns faster when you combine listening practice with mental rehearsal and imagination. Now open your eyes and focus. The next scene is slightly different. We will move outside the office environment. You will hear a conversation between two friends at a weekend market. The environment is noisy, full of background sounds like music, chatter, and footsteps. This will help you practice listening in real-life settings where English is not perfectly quiet or controlled. You will train your brain to focus on the main ideas and filter out distractions. This skill is extremely important for natural, confident communication. Before we start, remember, you do not need to understand every single word. Focus on the context, the key phrases, and the emotions behind the words. Try to imagine the scene in your mind. Visualizing the situation helps your comprehension. It also helps you remember new vocabulary more easily. Your goal is to absorb English naturally, just like a native speaker does when they are surrounded by the language every day. Now let's move to the weekend market scene. Imagine a warm Saturday morning. The sun is shining, people are walking around, and the air smells of fresh bread and flowers. Two friends, Emily and David, are exploring the market together. They are practicing English, but the conversation is natural, relaxed, and full of everyday expressions. Listen carefully and notice how they connect ideas and express opinions. Emily says, "Look at this stall. The flowers are incredible. I have never seen colors like these before." David smiles and replies, "I know, right? They have such a variety. Maybe we should get something for your apartment." Emily laughs. "That's a great idea. A few flowers would really brighten up the living room. David nods. Then let's pick some together. I like the yellow ones, but you can choose your favorite. As they select flowers, Emily notices another stall nearby. Oh, David, look at that bread. It smells amazing. Do you want to try some? David nods. Absolutely. I could use a snack. They walk toward the stall, and the vendor greets them warmly. Good morning. Everything is fresh today. Would you like to try our special sourdough? Emily smiles. Yes, please. That smells delicious. David adds, I will take one too. They pay and continue walking, enjoying the bread and chatting about small details of the market. Notice the way Emily and David speak. Their sentences are short, clear, and connected naturally. They use expressions like, look at this. I have never seen. That's a great idea. And, do you want to try? These phrases are common in everyday English and make conversations sound natural. Advanced learners often focus too much on grammar rules and forget these expressions. Listening to real conversations like this trains your brain to recognize and use them automatically. As they continue, Emily asks, did you see the artists painting near the fountain? David turns. Oh yes, I love watching them. Their work is so detailed. Emily nods. It makes me want to learn painting again. I stopped last year, but seeing this makes me think I should start practicing. David smiles. You should. Maybe we can take a class together sometime. Emily laughs lightly. That would be fun. I could use some inspiration. Here, the conversation shifts naturally from one topic to another. This is exactly how native speakers communicate. They do not speak in long, perfect sentences. They change topics, ask questions, express opinions, and respond emotionally. By listening carefully, you start to notice these patterns, and your comprehension improves. Now they approach a small cafe inside the market. Emily says, let's grab a coffee. I feel like we have walked a lot already. David nods. Good idea. I could use a break. They order their drinks and sit at a table outside. The atmosphere is lively, full of people chatting, laughing, and enjoying the day. You can imagine the sounds around them. Listening in a noisy environment like this is a great way to train your focus. While sipping coffee, Emily says, do you remember last summer when we visited the lake? David laughs. Of course, that was one of the best trips ever. I can still picture the sunset. Emily smiles. Me too. It was so peaceful. I think we should plan another trip soon. David nods enthusiastically. Absolutely, maybe next month. Emily agrees. Perfect. We both need a break from work anyway. Notice how past experiences are used in conversation. Native speakers often refer to shared memories to connect ideas. They use past tense naturally, but you do not need to translate everything. Focus on the meaning, the emotions, and the flow of the conversation. This helps you absorb grammar and vocabulary naturally, without studying rules. After finishing coffee, they walk toward a small bookstore. Emily says, look at all these books. I love coming here. David adds, me too. It feels so cozy, and I always find something interesting. Emily picks up a novel and asks, have you read this one before? David shakes his head. No, I haven't. But I have heard good things about it. Emily smiles. Then I will read it first and tell you all about it. That sounds fair, right? David laughs. Absolutely. I trust your opinion. This part of the conversation introduces subtle vocabulary and expressions like cozy, I have heard good things. I will read it first, and I trust your opinion. These phrases are used naturally by native speakers in casual settings. Listening to them repeatedly will make it easier for you to use them in your own conversations. Repetition and context are the keys to remembering new words and expressions. As the scene comes to an end, Emily and David walk out of the market together. Emily says, "Today was perfect. I feel happy and relaxed." David nods, "Same here. It is amazing how a simple day out can change your mood." Emily smiles, "I agree. We should do this more often." They wave goodbye and leave, carrying their coffee, bread, and flowers. The day ends with a feeling of satisfaction and connection. This scene shows you how English is used in real life. Notice the rhythm, the pauses, and how ideas connect naturally. By listening attentively, your brain begins to recognize patterns, anticipate responses, and understand meaning even in a noisy environment. This is exactly the skill you need to sound confident and natural in English. Before we move to the next part, take a deep breath. Reflect on what you have learned so far. You have listened to professional conversations, workplace discussions, and casual social interactions. Each scene trains a different aspect of your listening and speaking skills. You are building confidence. You are absorbing vocabulary. You are training your brain to understand meaning naturally. And most importantly, you are learning to enjoy English. Now we move into our next scene, designed to help you practice advanced listening in a slightly more challenging environment. Imagine a lively city park in the afternoon. Children are playing, dogs are running, and people are jogging or walking their pets. Two friends, Olivia and James, meet on a bench to catch up after a busy week. The sounds around them are a bit distracting, but this is an excellent way to train your ears for real-life English. Focus on understanding the main ideas and the emotions behind their words, not every single word. Olivia begins, "Hi James, it's been such a long week. How are you?" James smiles, "Hey Olivia, I know, right? I feel exhausted, but it's good to finally relax for a bit." Olivia nods, "I hear you. Work has been non-stop for me too. I feel like I barely had time to think." James laughs, "Same here. But let's forget about that for now. We deserve this walk. The weather is perfect." Notice how natural and connected their conversation is. They begin with greetings, quickly move to expressing feelings, and then shift to describing the environment. This flow is common in everyday English and helps you anticipate what speakers will say next. Predicting responses is an advanced listening skill that makes comprehension faster and easier. Olivia looks around and says, "Look at all the people playing soccer over there. It brings back memories of our high school games." James chuckles, "I remember those. We were terrible, but we had so much fun." Olivia laughs, "True. I can't believe how competitive we were though. We always wanted to win every single match." James nods, "Yeah. We took it way too seriously back then." This part of the dialogue introduces storytelling in English. Advanced speakers often share memories, tell stories, and give opinions casually. Listening carefully helps you understand how stories are structured and how emotions are expressed. Notice phrases like, "brings back memories," "I can't believe," and "we took it way too seriously." These phrases are common in natural English conversations and make your speech sound fluent and native-like. After a few minutes, Olivia notices a small cafe near the park. "Hey James, do you want to grab a coffee? I could use a break." James smiles. Sure, I could use some caffeine too. They walk toward the cafe, ordering their drinks, and sit at a small table outside. Olivia takes a sip and says, "This is perfect. I love sitting here and just watching people." James nods. "It's so relaxing. Sometimes I forget how much energy the city has. It's nice to slow down." Pay attention to how the conversation changes tone. In the park, it was more energetic and playful, discussing memories and joking. At the cafe, it becomes calm and reflective. Native speakers naturally adjust their tone, word choice, and rhythm, depending on the environment and mood. Listening to these variations helps your brain understand the subtleties of real English communication. James then asks, "Did you try that new Italian restaurant downtown last week?" Olivia replies, "Yes, it was amazing. The pasta was cooked perfectly, and the atmosphere was so cozy. I think you would love it." James smiles. "I need to go there soon. Maybe we can go together next weekend." Olivia nods enthusiastically. "Absolutely. It will be fun." Here you notice vocabulary that describes experiences. Perfectly, cozy, atmosphere. I think you would love it. Advanced learners often struggle with descriptive language, but repeated listening in context helps your brain remember these words naturally. You begin to recognize patterns, which improves both comprehension and speaking. As they continue talking, Olivia says, "I've been thinking about taking a cooking class too. It would be something different to try." James raises his eyebrows. "That sounds interesting. What type of cooking?" Olivia smiles. "Maybe Italian or French cuisine. I love learning new techniques and recipes." James nods. "That would be amazing. I've always wanted to learn French cooking. We could even do a class together." This conversation shows collaboration, planning, and expressing opinions. Native speakers often propose ideas, respond with interest, and suggest joint activities. Listening to this helps you understand the flow of natural English discussions. You start predicting what someone might say next and feel more confident in responding yourself. Now notice one more advanced detail. Even though they're in a noisy park and cafe environment, you can follow the conversation. Their voices rise and fall. They pause naturally, and they emphasize key words. Your brain is learning to filter distractions and focus on the main meaning. This is exactly the skill you need for real-life English listening. Before we end this scene, Olivia reflects, "You know, even though it's just a simple day at the park, I feel so refreshed." Sometimes we forget how important small breaks are for our energy and mood. James smiles. "Absolutely. Life gets busy, but moments like this remind us to slow down and enjoy simple pleasures." Take a moment to reflect on this. Advanced listening is not only about understanding words, it is about connecting ideas, following emotions, and predicting responses. Each scene in this video trains your brain to do this naturally. You are building fluency, confidence, and the ability to sound like a native speaker. Now, take a deep breath, relax, and get ready for the next scene. The next part will challenge your listening with slightly faster speech and more complex expressions. But remember, focus on the main ideas, emotions, and context. Your brain will follow, and your confidence will grow even more. Now we move into a slightly more advanced listening scene. Imagine a modern co-working space in the city. People are typing on laptops, talking quietly in small groups, and brainstorming ideas on whiteboards. Two professionals, Anna and Lucas, are discussing a new project. This conversation is a bit faster than the previous ones, with more complex vocabulary and expressions. Your goal is to follow the main ideas and emotions, not every single word. Anna begins. Lucas, have you reviewed the proposal for the new marketing campaign? Lucas nods. Yes, I went through it last night. There are some strong points, but I think we could improve a few areas. Anna asks, such as? Lucas replies, well, for one, the social media strategy could be more targeted. We need to consider demographics and engagement rates more carefully. Anna nods thoughtfully. I see what you mean. That makes sense. Perhaps we can include more analytics to support our recommendations. Notice how they speak naturally, but professionally. They use expressions like, have you reviewed? I went through it. We could improve, and make sense. These phrases are common in professional English and make your speech sound fluent and confident. Listening to these patterns helps you internalize vocabulary and sentence structures without memorizing rules. Anna continues, also, I noticed the timeline is a bit tight. If we want to launch by next month, we need to delegate tasks efficiently. Lucas agrees. Absolutely. We should create a clear schedule and assign responsibilities to each team member. That way, we can track progress and avoid last-minute issues. Anna smiles. Perfect. Let's draft a plan this afternoon and then review it together. Pay attention to how ideas are connected. They use linking words like also, if, that way, and then to organize their thoughts. Advanced learners often overlook these small words, but they are essential for understanding the flow of real English. Linking words signal relationships between ideas and make conversations easier to follow. Lucas adds, by the way, have you thought about including influencer marketing? Anna raises an eyebrow. That's an interesting idea. Do you think it would align with our brand image? Lucas replies, yes, but we need to choose influencers carefully. Someone who resonates with our target audience without being too expensive. Anna nods. Good point. We should research potential candidates and present options to the team. This section introduces conditional expressions, questions, and opinions. Phrases like, do you think it would align? We need to choose carefully, and without being too expensive, are typical in real conversations. By listening to these patterns, you can predict how native speakers ask questions, respond to ideas, and offer suggestions. Now the conversation becomes more dynamic. Anna says, I also wanted to mention that the client requested a more creative concept. Lucas leans forward. Interesting. Do you have any initial ideas? Anna smiles. I was thinking about interactive content, maybe a series of short videos that encourage audience participation. Lucas nods excitedly. That could be really engaging. We can brainstorm some examples this afternoon. Anna replies, exactly. Let's jot down everything and refine the concept later. Notice the vocabulary and expressions. Interactive content. Encourage audience participation. That could be really engaging. Refine the concept later. These are advanced phrases, but they are used naturally in context. Listening repeatedly to such expressions helps you absorb advanced vocabulary in a meaningful way. As they continue discussing, Anna pauses and says, one last thing, the budget is tight, so we have to prioritize tasks carefully. Lucas nods, agreed. Let's focus on high-impact activities first. and we can adjust if necessary. Anna smiles. Perfect. I think we have a solid plan forming. Lucas replies, definitely. With this approach, I'm confident the campaign will succeed. This final part of the scene shows confidence and planning in professional English. Notice the use of modal verbs like have to, can, and will to express necessity, possibility, and certainty. These small details make your English sound more natural and precise. Now take a moment to reflect on this scene. Even though the speech was faster and more complex, you understood the main ideas. You followed the flow of the conversation, the emotions, and the reasoning behind the words. This is exactly how advanced listening works. Your brain begins to recognize patterns and predict responses automatically. This skill is essential for understanding native speakers in meetings, discussions, and real-life situations. Before we move to the next segment, let's do a short mental exercise. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a similar professional conversation. You are confident, you express your ideas clearly, and you follow the flow naturally. You make small mistakes, but you continue speaking. You understand most of what the other person says, and you respond appropriately. This visualization trains your brain to react confidently in real English situations. Your fluency grows faster when your mind is prepared for success. Now get ready for the next part of the video. The next scene will combine professional and casual English. You will hear native speakers switching tones depending on the situation, expressing opinions, making suggestions, and responding naturally. This transition is critical for advanced learners because real English is not limited to one environment. The more you expose yourself to different contexts, the more confident and natural your speaking will become. Now we move into a scene that combines professional English with casual conversation. Imagine it is late afternoon at a modern co-working space. The workday is ending, and colleagues are starting to relax. Two co-workers, Rachel and Tom, are having a conversation that blends work updates with casual small talk. Listening to these transitions will train your brain to understand different tones, vocabulary, and rhythms in real life. Rachel begins, "Hey Tom, did you finish reviewing the client's report?" Tom nods, "Yes, I went through it this morning. There are a few points we need to clarify, but overall it looks solid." Rachel smiles, "Great. I was a bit worried about the data section, but it seems accurate." Tom replies, "Absolutely. The numbers are all correct. I double-checked everything. We're good to go for the meeting tomorrow." Notice how their conversation is professional but relaxed. Phrases like, "Did you finish reviewing? A few points we need to clarify," and "We're good to go" are common in workplace English. Listening to these helps you understand tone, vocabulary, and sentence patterns that native speakers use daily. Rachel then adds, "By the way, are you free for a quick coffee break before leaving?" Tom laughs, "Sure, why not? I could use a short break." They walk to the small cafe inside the co-working space. The environment is filled with soft chatter, clinking cups, and background music. This noisy environment helps your brain focus on key phrases while filtering out distractions. As they sip their coffee, the tone shifts from professional to casual. Rachel says, "So, what did you do over the weekend?" Tom smiles, "I went hiking with a few friends. The trail was challenging, but the view was amazing." Rachel nods, "That sounds wonderful. I love hiking too, but I didn't have time this weekend. Maybe next time. Tom replies, definitely. It's always better with a group anyway. Notice the change in vocabulary and rhythm. In casual conversation, sentences are shorter, more emotional, and often include personal experiences. Listening to these differences helps you switch your understanding between formal and informal English naturally. Rachel laughs lightly and says, "Did you try that new cafe near the park last week?" Tom shakes his head. "Not yet. I've heard good things, though." Rachel smiles. "You should go. They have the best pastries, and the coffee is fantastic." Tom nods. "I'll make sure to check it out. Thanks for the recommendation." Here you notice descriptive expressions and natural opinion phrases. "I've heard good things, the best pastries. I'll make sure to check it out." These phrases are common in real conversations and are often missed by learners who focus only on grammar. Listening repeatedly helps you internalize them naturally. As the conversation continues, Rachel says, "You know, even though it was a short work day, I feel more relaxed after this coffee." Tom nods. "Same here. It's amazing how small breaks can refresh your mind and improve focus." Rachel laughs. "Exactly. We underestimate the power of short pauses sometimes." Now let's add a slightly more complex part. Tom asks, "Have you considered joining the company book club? They meet once a month, and I think it could be fun." Rachel raises an eyebrow. "A book club? That sounds interesting. What kind of books do they read?" Tom replies, "A mix of fiction and non-fiction. Last month, they read a business psychology book. The month before, it was a novel about travel and adventure." Rachel smiles. "That sounds really fun. Maybe I'll join next month." Notice how the conversation introduces suggestions, curiosity, and future plans. Phrases like, "Have you considered?" "That sounds interesting," and "Maybe I'll join," are essential in everyday English. They show polite suggestions, agreement, and intention. Listening to these patterns helps you speak more confidently in similar situations. As they finish their coffee, Rachel says, "I should probably head back to finish my last emails." Tom nods. "Of course. Thanks for joining me for a quick break. It really made the afternoon better." Rachel smiles. "Anytime. See you tomorrow." They wave goodbye and leave the cafe. This scene highlights transitions between work-focused English and casual conversation. By paying attention to tone, vocabulary, and rhythm, your brain is training to adapt to real-life English. This is one of the most important skills for sounding natural and confident. Before we move to the next segment, take a short pause. Reflect on what you heard. Notice how native speakers shift between professional and casual tones, how they ask questions, give suggestions, and express opinions. All these small details add up to a more advanced, natural understanding of English. Now, get ready for the next part. The next scene will involve a slightly faster conversation with multiple speakers in a lively environment. This will challenge your listening further and help you develop the skill of focusing on key ideas while filtering out distractions. Remember, stay relaxed, focus on the main points, and let your brain absorb English naturally. Now let's move into a scene with multiple speakers in a lively environment. Imagine a weekend workshop in a large community center. There are groups of people talking, someone presenting ideas at the front, and soft background noise from conversations and movement. This environment will help you practice advanced listening, Under more realistic conditions, your goal is to focus on the main ideas, emotions, and key phrases, rather than every word. Two friends, Mia and Daniel, are attending a creative writing workshop together. The session begins with a facilitator introducing the topic. Facilitator says, "Welcome everyone. Today we will explore how to express emotions clearly in short stories. Think about the characters, their feelings, and how you can show these feelings without directly telling the reader." Mia whispers to Daniel, "This sounds interesting, but I hope I can follow along." Daniel smiles, "Don't worry. We'll figure it out together." Notice the use of expressions like, "hope I can follow along," and "we'll figure it out together." These are casual, supportive phrases used by native speakers in everyday conversation. Listening to these helps you understand tone, context, and natural word choice. The facilitator continues, "Let's start with a short exercise. Write a paragraph about a character who faces a challenge and describe their emotions in a way that makes the reader feel them." Mia begins writing quietly. Daniel says, "I'm not sure how to start." Mia replies, "Just think about what your character feels. Begin there." Daniel nods, "Okay, I'll try." Pay attention to the linking words and supportive language. Just think about. Begin there. I'll try. Native speakers use these phrases to guide and encourage conversation. Listening carefully helps your brain recognize them naturally, which improves both understanding and speaking. After a few minutes, the facilitator asks, "Who wants to share their paragraph?" Several participants raise their hands. Mia hesitates, but then volunteers. She reads her paragraph aloud. The facilitator smiles. "That's wonderful, Mia. You captured the emotion perfectly." Daniel whispers, "I didn't think I could do this, but you made it seem easy." Mia replies, "You can do it too. Just start with your feelings." This part of the scene shows encouragement, supportive expressions, and natural conversational flow. Phrases like, "That's wonderful," "You can do it too," and "just start with" are commonly used in everyday English. Repeated listening helps you internalize them and use them in your own speech. Next, a discussion begins among a small group. Participant 1 asks, "How do you make the character's anxiety feel real?" Participant 2 replies, "I focus on small details, like their trembling hands or racing heartbeat." Participant 3 adds, "I describe the thoughts going through their mind." Participant 1 nods, "That makes sense. I'll try that in my next paragraph." Notice the natural question and response pattern. Questions often begin with how, what, or why, and responses provide explanations, examples, or personal techniques. Listening to these patterns allows your brain to anticipate questions and answers in real conversations, which is crucial for advanced fluency. As the session continues, the facilitator moves to a more interactive exercise. Facilitator says, "Now pair up and share your paragraphs with a partner. Give constructive feedback." Mia and Daniel pair up. Mia reads her paragraph again. Daniel says, "I love how you described her hesitation. It felt very real." Mia smiles. "Thanks. I try to show it through small actions, like shaking hands and fidgeting." Daniel replies, "That's clever. I'll try that technique too." Here you can hear casual feedback expressions like, "I love how," "It felt very real," and "That's clever." Native speakers often use these phrases to respond positively and continue conversations naturally. Listening carefully helps you recognize these patterns and use them confidently in your own interactions. After sharing their paragraphs, the facilitator concludes, "Excellent work today, everyone. Remember, expressing emotions in writing is similar to speaking. You need to show, not just tell. Think about context, body language, and feelings. These skills improve your English comprehension and your ability to express ideas naturally." Mia whispers to Daniel, "That was more challenging than I expected, but I feel more confident." Daniel smiles, "Me too. Listening and speaking are different skills, but exercises like this help both." Mia nods, "I agree." Take a moment to reflect. In this scene, you heard multiple speakers, background noise, questions, and supportive feedback. Your brain trained to focus on key ideas, interpret emotions, and follow the conversation naturally. This is exactly the type of practice that improves listening comprehension and prepares you for real-life English interactions. Before we move to the next part, take a deep breath, relax your mind, think about what you just heard and how it differs from the previous scenes. Notice how speech changes in fast, interactive environments. Listening under these conditions trains your brain to filter distractions and focus on the meaning, which is essential for advanced English fluency. Now get ready for the next segment. The next scene will be a casual group conversation among friends at a cafe, with faster speech, overlapping dialogue, and informal expressions. This will challenge your listening and help you develop the ability to follow natural English in dynamic situations. Now let's move to a casual group conversation at a cafe. Imagine a cozy, bustling cafe on a Saturday afternoon. The air is filled with the smell of coffee, light chatter, and soft music playing in the background. Three friends, Sophie, Liam, and Emma, are sitting together, catching up on their week. Their conversation is faster, overlapping at times, and full of informal expressions. This scene will train your ears to follow real-life English, even when multiple people speak. Sophie begins, "Hey, did you guys watch the new show on streaming last night?" Liam interrupts excitedly, "Yes, I couldn't stop watching. The plot twists were insane." Emma laughs, "I know, I stayed up way too late because I had to see what happened next." Sophie nods, "Same here. I didn't expect that ending at all." Notice how the conversation overlaps naturally. Friends often interrupt, react immediately, and speak quickly. Listening to these patterns helps your brain adjust to real, unscripted English. Don't worry if you don't catch every word. Focus on the overall meaning, emotions, and key phrases. Liam continues, "Also, the main actor was incredible. His expressions made the scenes feel so real." Emma adds, "Totally. I felt like I was part of the story." Sophie laughs, "Yeah, I almost forgot I was just watching a screen." Here you notice expressions like "totally," "almost forgot," and "I felt like I was part of the story." These are casual, natural phrases used frequently by native speakers. Listening to them repeatedly helps you use them naturally in your own conversations. Sophie then says, "By the way, have you tried the new bakery down the street?" Liam shakes his head, "Not yet." Emma nods, "I went yesterday. Their croissants are amazing, and the coffee is really good too." Sophie smiles, "I need to check it out, maybe this weekend." Liam replies, "We should all go together. It would be fun." Notice the suggestions and responses. "We should all go together. Maybe this weekend. It would be fun." These are common ways native speakers plan activities. Listening to these patterns helps you respond naturally in similar situations. As their conversation continues, Emma asks, "So how was your week, Sophie?" Sophie sighs, "Busy, but productive. I had a few deadlines at work, and one project went smoother than expected." Liam nods, "That's great. I had a hectic week too, but I finally finished everything I needed." Emma smiles, "Same here. Sometimes it feels like the week just flies by." Here you can hear everyday descriptive phrases. Busy, but productive. Went smoother than expected. The week just flies by. These expressions are very common in casual English. Repeated exposure helps your brain recognize them and improves your speaking fluency. Liam then changes the topic. "Hey, have you thought about joining that weekend hiking group?" Sophie looks surprised. "Oh, I didn't know about it." Liam continues, "Yeah, a few people from work joined last weekend. They said it was challenging but really fun." Emma nods. "I think it's a great way to meet new people and stay active." Sophie smiles. "Sounds perfect. I might give it a try next Saturday." This section introduces suggestions, opinions, and future plans. Listening carefully helps you understand how native speakers propose ideas and respond politely. Phrases like, "I might give it a try," "It's a great way," and "sounds perfect" are essential for natural conversation. Now the conversation picks up speed. Emma says, "By the way, did you hear about the concert next month?" Sophie replies, "Yes, I already bought tickets." Liam gasps, "No way, I didn't get mine yet." Sophie laughs, "Hurry before they sell out." Emma smiles, "It's going to be amazing. The band is incredible live." Notice the excitement and overlapping dialogue. Friends often speak at the same time when they are enthusiastic. Your goal is to follow the main ideas, emotions, and reactions, not every single word. This is a skill advanced learners need for natural listening comprehension. As the scene comes to an end, Sophie says, "I really needed this coffee and chat today. It feels so good to catch up." Liam nods, "Me too. We should do this more often." Emma smiles, "Definitely. Let's make it a weekly thing." Take a moment to reflect. In this scene, you experienced a fast, overlapping conversation with multiple speakers, informal expressions, and real emotions. Your brain practiced focusing on the main ideas while filtering out background noise and distractions. This is exactly how native English is spoken in casual, dynamic environments. Before we move to the next segment, take a deep breath, relax, and let your mind absorb everything you heard. Think about the different tones, vocabulary, and rhythms you noticed. This awareness will help you improve your listening and speaking skills naturally. The next part of the video will combine all the skills you have practiced so far. You will hear a longer, slightly more complex conversation with professional, casual, and fast-paced elements. This is your final advanced listening challenge, designed to help you feel confident and ready to understand real-life English in any situation. Now we reach the final scene of this advanced listening practice. This scene combines professional discussions, casual interactions, and dynamic group conversation. You will hear multiple speakers, natural overlaps, and varying tones. The goal is to integrate everything you have learned so far. Focus on main ideas, follow emotions, recognize key phrases, and absorb vocabulary naturally. Imagine it is late afternoon at a team-building event hosted by a company. Employees are gathered in a large room, some standing near tables with snacks, others sitting in small groups, Three colleagues, Nina, Alex, and Jordan, are discussing work, projects, and weekend plans. Nina begins. So, Alex, how did the client meeting go this morning? Alex smiles. Surprisingly well. The client seemed pleased with our recommendations. Jordan nods. That's great to hear. I was a bit worried about the data section, but everything went smoothly. Nina laughs. Yes, I noticed how confident you were presenting. It really made a difference. Notice the natural praise and reassurance in this conversation. Phrases like, surprisingly well, everything went smoothly, and it really made a difference are commonly used in professional and casual contexts. Listening to these phrases repeatedly will help you internalize them and use them naturally. Alex continues. By the way, did you both check out the new software update? Nina replies. I explored it briefly. It seems useful, but I need more time to test all the features. Jordan nods. Same here. I like the new dashboard layout though. It makes navigating much easier. Here, notice the subtle shift to a technical discussion. Advanced English learners often struggle with transitioning between casual and technical topics. Listening carefully helps your brain adjust naturally to different vocabulary and tone. After a few moments, the conversation shifts to weekend plans. Nina asks, any exciting plans for the weekend? Alex smiles. I'm going hiking with friends. Jordan laughs. Lucky. I might just relax at home and read. Nina nods. That sounds perfect too. Sometimes resting is exactly what we need. Pay attention to informal expressions and conversational rhythm. Lucky. Might just relax. And exactly what we need. These phrases are common in native speech and make your English sound natural. Suddenly, a colleague joins their group. Emily says, Hey everyone, did you hear about the charity run next Sunday? Jordan replies, Yes, I'm thinking about joining. Nina adds, Me too. It could be a fun way to exercise and support a good cause. Alex smiles. I'll check my schedule, but I'm interested as well. This part demonstrates multiple speakers introducing new topics, giving opinions, and responding naturally. Notice linking words and phrases like, it could be, I'm thinking about, and I'll check my schedule. These help conversations flow smoothly and are essential for advanced fluency. As they continue talking, Nina says, By the way, have you tried that new cafe downtown? Alex laughs. Not yet. I've heard great reviews though. Jordan nods. I went last weekend. Their pastries are amazing. Nina smiles. I definitely need to go. Now the conversation becomes faster and overlaps slightly. Emily says, Did you guys watch the latest episode of the series? Jordan replies, Yes, the ending was so unexpected. Alex interrupts, I know. I couldn't believe it either. Nina laughs, Me neither. I stayed up way too late because of it. Here you experience overlapping speech, enthusiasm, and casual expressions. Your brain is practicing advanced listening, filtering background noise, focusing on main ideas, and interpreting tone. This skill is critical for understanding natural English in real life. Finally, as the event winds down, Alex says, I'm glad we could all chat today. It's nice to mix work and casual conversation. Nina nods. Absolutely. I feel more connected with everyone. Jordan smiles. Same here. These moments make teamwork stronger. Emily adds, and it's fun too. Take a moment to reflect. In this final scene, you practice listening to professional discussions, casual conversations, overlapping dialogue, and multiple speakers in a lively environment. You focused on meaning, emotions, and context. This is exactly how advanced English works in real life. Remember, advanced listening and speaking are built through exposure and practice. Your brain learns patterns, phrases, and natural rhythm by repeated listening. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Focus on the meaning, the flow, and the emotions. Over time, your comprehension and confidence will grow naturally. Congratulations! You have completed the full 1-hour advanced English listening practice. Take a deep breath and feel proud of your progress. Listen to this video as many times as needed and try to imitate the sentences, tones, and expressions. This practice strengthens both your listening and speaking skills, helping you sound confident, natural, and fluent in English. Thank you for watching this session with MindPop English. Keep practicing, stay curious, and enjoy your journey to advanced English fluency.